friends, Joe here and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making this amazing coffee cake. This delicious streusel, and the cake, it's out of this world. Let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to begin making the streusel first. So here I have 2 cups of brown sugar. I'm going to put it in there. I have a 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Then here I have a cup of granulated sugar. And I have, we're going to do 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Go ahead and get it mixed. Okay, that's pretty mixed. It's pretty good. So now we are going to add a cup of cold butter that I cubed. Just put it all in there. And you can use your hands or you can use a fork, but I'm using my pastry blender, hand pastry blender. You're just going to smash it until it turns into pebbles. Okay, that looks pretty good. So you want it just to have it just pebbles like that. And if this seems like a lot of streusel, it's because it is. But this is what makes this cake. This is a fairly large coffee cake. I'm using a 9x13 pan. And then now I just want to smash like this. Kind of just create big lumps like that. Just keep doing that. It feels like it's all getting mixed with the butter or the flour and sugar mixture. Spill it all over the place. There we go. And I want to do it this way, well, so the butter and the sugar and flour mixture get all nice and incorporated. But I want big lumps, well, fairly big lumps on top of the coffee cake. And then, so you want something like this. That. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator while I make the batter. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the batter together. So here I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Start with the wet. I'm sorry, the dry. Then I have a 1/2 cup of cornstarch. Got it all in there. And then I have a cup of granulated sugar. Go ahead and get that sifted. There's a lot of ingredients in this. Let's see. This way. Oops. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this is a 3/4 cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm going to do 2.5 tablespoons of baking powder. Okay. Then go ahead and get it mixed. I am getting more flour on me than anywhere else. Okay. Maybe I should have grabbed the bigger bowl, but this is the one I have right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. All mixed after I cleaned out my mess that I had everywhere. So I'm going to make it like a little well in the center. And I'm going to add the wet ingredients, which is I have here a 1.5 cups of this sour cream. sure you scrape it all, get it all. Okay. Then here I have 4 eggs. And I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm gonna start mixing it with a spatula first before I use my mixer. Just so that way at least get the batter going. It is a really thick batter, so that is normal. Okay, so most of the dry ingredients are pretty wet now, incorporated with the wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my hand mixer. Get all that there. Let's see. So I'm going to start low, then kind of just build up to medium until it's all nice and mixed. That looks pretty creamy, so I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 cup of room temperature butter. Make sure that it really is at room temperature. Mixing it. Start slow. Make sure you stop in between to scrape the sides. Make sure you get everything. Oops. Looks really good. Just gonna give it one more spin. Actually, this is good. Yeah, this is really good. Okay. Now we're gonna put the cake together. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and put it in the pan. So here I have my pan. It's lined. I put parchment paper, sprayed it, put the parchment paper. You don't have to use the parchment paper. You can just use baking spray, some flour, and it should be good. Just makes it easier and cleaner. Okay, so I'm gonna pour half of the batter in here. As close to half as possible. And I'm going to use a little spatula, and I'm going to start from the center and spread it out to the sides. Make sure you get into the corners. Okay, so did the first layer, so it looks pretty even. I try to make sure I get it as even as possible. Okay, now we're gonna. I have the filling that I'm gonna put in the middle, and it's a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I have a 1/4 cup of flour, and 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I'm just gonna generously just spread it all over. Okay. And then I'm going to save a little bit so I can pour on top. Okay. Now we're going to do the other half. This is the tricky part, because once you put it in there, you have to be careful when you're smearing it, because the sandy bottom can get everywhere. Let me go ahead and pat this down so it kind of sits there. Okay. All right, now we're going to put the rest of the batter. I'm going to start getting in the middle. Start from the middle and work your way to the sides. It's tricky because now that little sandy bottom. Okay, this looks pretty good. Don't worry about it. If you feel like, oh, it's a really even. I mean, you want to get it as even as possible, but the cake, it will do its thing. You have a nice, beautiful 2 layers with a little cinnamon in the middle. And now we're going to add this streusel. Okay, so here's the streusel. It's nice and cold, big chunks, and that's what I want. So I'm just gonna give it a toss and kind of just press it and make little lumps like that, and then I kind of just break it so that way when I grab it, I have big lumps like that. Here we go. And you're gonna put it all throughout. I know it seems like a lot. Trust me when I say it's delicious. It's nice and even. Now I'm going to grab some of this cinnamon sugar and pour it on top. Okay. Now I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 for 50 to 55 minutes, and you need to do maybe around the 50-minute mark, do the 45-50-minute mark, do the little toothpick test. Make sure it comes out dry, then it's ready to come out. All right, so the cake has been out of the oven for a half hour. I let it cool down. Now, the only thing left is just to try it. My God, look at that streusel. So nice and crunchy. All right, let's try this. Let's see. Amazing. Oh, out of this world. The streusel. You have to try this recipe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and please subscribe. Check out my other videos. But most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little goodness.